Hello, what's up everyone? Have a blessed day to one and all. And this is History of Mathematics. And today we are honoring one distinguished mathematician in 17th century with his greatest contribution in the fields of mathematics.
René Descartes' life and works.
This is René Descartes. René Descartes has been dubbed as the father of modern philosophy, but he was one also of the key figures in the scientific revolution of the 17th century, and it's sometimes considered the first of the modern school of mathematics. Descartes has been heralded as the first modern philosopher. He is famous for having made an important connection between geometry and algebra, which allowed for the solving of geometrical problems by way of algebraic equations. He is not only a mathematician, he is also a philosopher and a scientist. However, he is most famous for having written a relatively short work, Meditations de Prima Philosophia, or Meditations on First Philosophy, published in 1641, in which he provides a philosophical groundwork for the possibility of the sciences. Descartes was born in La Haye, France on March 31, 1596 of Joachim Descartes and Jean Brocard. He was one of a number of surviving children, 2 siblings and 2 half-siblings. His father was a lawyer and magistrate, which apparently left little time for family. Descartes' mother died in May of the year following his birth, and he, his full brother and sister Pierre and Jean, were left to be raised by their grandmother in La Haye. At around 10 years of age, in 1606, he was sent to the Jesuit College of La Fleche. He consumed 8 years in La Fleche, and in 1615, he entered the University of Poitiers, where a year later, he received his baccalaureate and license in canon and civil law. In 1618, at the age of 22, he enlisted in the army of Prince Maurice of Nassau. It is not known what his duties were exactly, though Violet suggests that he would have very likely been drawn to what would now be called the Corps of Engineers. This is an overview about Corps of Engineers. The Corps' mission is to deliver vital public and military engineering services, partnering in peace and war to strengthen our nation's security, energize the economy, and reduce risk from disaster. Its most visible civil works missions include planning, designing, building, and operating locks and dams. As a young man, he found employment for a time as a soldier. But after a series of dreams or visions, and after meeting the Dutch philosopher and scientist Isaac Beckman, who sparked his interest in mathematics and the new physics, he concluded that his real path in life was the pursuit of true wisdom and science. In 1633, he was about to publish a work titled The Word, but he decided against it. It is a scientific work, and Descartes was afraid that church would condemn him for adopting the heliocentric Copernican model, just like Galileo. In 1637, he published his groundbreaking philosophical and mathematical treatise, Discours de la Méthode, or the Discourse on Method, or simply the Method of Doubt. And one of its appendices, in particular La Geometrie, is now considered a landmark in the history of mathematics. In La Geometrie, Descartes first proposed the Cartesian coordinate.
He watched the fly as it landed in different places on his bedroom ceiling. He decided that, in order to describe the location of the fly, he would need to think of the square tiles as a grid. One of the corners of the ceiling would be the reference point, where the x-axis and y-axis meet, while one wall would be the x-axis and the other the y-axis.
Although analytic geometry was far and away Descartes' most important contribution to mathematics. He also developed a rules of sign technique for determining the number of positive or negative real roots of a polynomial. Invented or at least popularized the superscript notation for showing powers or exponent. Let me know what is the rule of signs.
Hi everyone! In this video, we're going to teach you the method of Descartes' rule of sign. Descartes' rule of sign is there to help us eliminate the need of testing numbers that will not be a zero of the equation. For finding positive zeros, first, you'll have to identify each constant's integer. Second, identify how many times the integer sign switches. Third, the number you get and the second number you'll get when you decrease the original number by 2 are the two possible positive zeros. For finding the number of negative zeros, first, you'll have to change each variable's integer to negative. Second, identify if its sign will change depending on the exponent. Third, identify how many times the integer sign switches. Fourth, the number you get and the second number you'll get when you decrease the original number by 2 are the two possible negative zeros.
For all his importance in development of modern mathematics, though, Descartes is perhaps best known today as a philosopher who exposed rationalism and dualism. His philosophy consisted of a method of doubting everything, then rebuilding knowledge from the ground, and he is particularly known for the often quoted statement, cogito ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am.
What am I? A thinking thing. That's what René Descartes believed. But how did he get there? Descartes asked, what, if anything, can I know for certain? He decided he couldn't rely on any evidence acquired from his senses, since they sometimes misled him. A straight stick can look bent in water. In the past he had mistaken the shape of objects in the distance, and so on. Worse still, whilst sleeping, he sometimes dreamt he'd woken up. So how then could he be sure he wasn't dreaming now? But hang on, surely 2 plus 3 equals 5, even in a dream. Descartes, a mathematician, wouldn't get that wrong, would he? Even here, Descartes realized he couldn't claim absolute certainty, for what if an evil demon was in control of his thoughts, manipulating them so that every time he added numbers together, he made a basic error? Where would that leave him? There would be nothing he could be sure of, just a whirlpool of doubt. Descartes' lifebelt was the realization that even if such a demon existed, it couldn't deceive him about his own existence. Every thought, no matter how unreliable, proved he existed as a thinking thing. He could be more sure of that even than that he had a body. This is his famous cogito argument.
His revolutionary ideas made him a center of controversy in his day, and he died in 1650 because of pneumonia, far from home in Stockholm, Sweden. And 13 years later, his works were placed on the Catholic Church's Index of Prohibited Books. I hope you learned something. This is Dieter Borromeo Buhangin, a mathematics major of Isabela State University, Kawayan Campus. And to the one who is watching, always remember that mathematics is not about computations, algorithms, numbers, and quotations. It's all about understanding. Thank you and God bless.